I want you to rethink the status quo blanket recommendations for the pelvic floor. So what if you have prolapse? What if you want to lift with prolapse? I think you should be able to, and it just might mean that where everybody else can take one step forward, you need to take 5 and be more progressive, keep it lighter, ease into it. So one of the recommendations I want to talk about is overhead press. So overhead press is not recommended for women with prolapse. All right, well, I don't like blanket recommendations. And so what I want you to think about, one of the modifications is sitting down. I'm not a huge fan of sitting. I think that we do entirely too much sitting. So one of the things I like to do is do a split stance lunge. The things that need to be incorporated with your pelvic floor prolapse and lifting overhead is you absolutely have to know, is your pelvic floor drawing up when you exhale, or is it bearing down? So this is huge, and this is what makes that recommendation happen. So if you are a woman and you are bearing down on your pelvic floor when you exhale, basically any lifting is going to make your prolapse worse, but especially overhead press because of the pressure. But I say if you want to do something, learn how to handle it and do it in incremental amounts. And I also find adding a level of instability, so it decreases the weight but increases the challenge, is also extremely helpful. So I love bottoms up kettlebell presses and a little bit of a split stance lunge. Our pelvic floors love that split stance lunge. So if you'll go into a little bit of a split stance lunge, string through the back of your head, super, super tall, exhale. When you push, we're getting that off sides balance, and you're getting a whole lot of instability from the kettlebell. Now, when you push overhead, if you feel, oh, I'm bearing down on my pelvic floor, yeah, that's going to be a big problem. That's going to make your prolapse feel worse. But how are you going to progress to lifts that you want to do if you don't fix that? So start small, start easy, start light. Feel what your pelvic floor is doing. So grab that kettlebell or a weight if you want to use that. Exhale. Feel your pelvic floor go up and tighten when you press. Switch sides. Do the other side. Okay? Feel your pelvic floor. Okay? Did your pelvic floor tighten when you exhaled, when you pushed overhead? If it didn't, take it down 2 notches. Maybe you do need to sit when you start. Maybe you need to use 5 pounds. So start small and progressive if you want to reach your lifting goals. Then increase the weight, increase the demand, and then maybe you can eventually go back to, at least that's the goal, right? You can get back to pressing overhead with a barbell or anything else you want because you have trained your pelvic floor to respond properly to the stimulus at hand, which is the overhead press. All right, so give that a shot, have some fun. I know I like them, and they can be completely safe for pelvic floor issues if done correctly.